The year was 2008. The Indiana Jones franchise was resurrected for its fourth installment, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which received mixed reactions from fans, while Iron Man, the first film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, debuted to resounding praise. In California, a fire on the backlot of Universal Studios Hollywood destroyed several cinematic icons, such as the Courthouse Square set featured prominently in Gremlins and Back to the Future. And in the UK, a film premiered that explores how fan-favorite movies can have a greater effect on the lives of certain viewers than a mere 2 hours of escapism. But Rian never saw it. Until now. This is Movies I Missed 2008, Episode 9, Son of Rambow.
I'm Jesse Munoz.
I'm Ryan Miller.
This is Movies I Missed 2008, Episode number 9. Today we're talking about the film Son of Rambow, released May 2nd, 2008, with a running time of 1 hour and 36 minutes. I want to give a warning that we will be discussing all aspects of this movie. That includes spoilers. Son of Rambow is a 2008 comedy drama written and directed by Gareth Jennings. Set in 1980s England, it follows Will, a sheltered boy from a strict religious family who is pulled into an unlikely friendship with Lee, the school troublemaker. After Will sees a bootleg copy of First Blood, the two set out to make their own backyard action movie inspired by Rambo. The project quickly grows bigger than they expected, shaking up their lives and changing their friendship along the way.
What is your name? Will Proudfoot. Listen, mate. I don't mind taking the blame for this if you like. But if I do, you might have to give me something in return. Fair enough. Always fancied a watch. Still, you probably don't mind getting a letter sent home and being tortured. Oh, didn't you know? About the torture? Oh, yeah. Last time she tortured me, I could barely stand up for a week. Pain like you'd never believe. Doctor said they might have to amputate it off. Well, can't keep the lady waiting, can we? Let's just get this over and done with.
I'll pray for you, Lee Carter.
Couple of plugs. Moviesimiss.com is our website. You can get access to our Instagram and our YouTube there. At Movies I Miss Podcast is the handles for both of those sites. And we're available everywhere and anywhere you get podcasts. So please subscribe. All right, Ryan, this is your last choice for the year 2008, Son of Rambow.
Yep.
I'd never heard of this before you mentioned it, so it wasn't even in my short list. When we're going through trying to decide what movies we're going to pick for the season, I like to go to Letterboxd because they have a good like visual way of looking at all the movies from the year. And this one never would have even stood out. Like, it's not that it's got a bad cover or anything, but I just, I would have skipped right by it.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you choose this one?
Honestly, it's exactly one thing. Back in 2008, presumably, I was at the movies. I don't know what I was seeing, and I saw a trailer for this. Oh. And I just remember thinking like, wow, that looks fun. I'd like to check that out. And then it's kind of like an indie movie. And I don't remember it ever getting a theatrical release here or anything. Maybe it did, and I just missed it. But, and then it's just like, it disappeared. And every now and then throughout the years, it would pop into my head like, oh yeah, I always wanted to see that movie. Or I'd come across it somewhere online and be like, oh yeah, I always wanted to watch that. And then, when we were picking our movies for 2008, I probably looked at a list on Wikipedia or something and saw this title and was like, here's my chance to finally actually sit down and watch this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just remember seeing the trailer and thinking, oh, that looks fun. That looks like something I'd like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get into why you never saw it in the theaters when we get to the box office aspect of that. That might play a part as to why it just sort of sat there. Okay, so it's directed by a guy named Gareth Jennings. He directed and was the writer of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Sing 2. I've seen Sing. Sing is cute. It's like a fun animated, I think maybe DreamWorks movie. I never saw the second one. And honestly, the first one, it was cute and it was fine, but it was pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
What about Hitchhiker? I'm sure you've seen Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that in the theater when it came out. And I actually watched it not super long ago for the Triple Threat Theater podcast that I do with Joe Daxberger. And I like it. It's, you know, I tried reading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy when I was in like middle school because I like sci-fi, but that brand of humor, it's like I find it novel, but it's not exactly my cup of tea. That like kind of really silly British style.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like the movie, I like it enough. I've seen it like 2 or 3 times now, and it's fine. It's interesting that was this guy's first movie.
Yeah.
And he's only done 4 things, and it's like big, like studio sci-fi movie based on a very popular book, tiny little indie film based on his childhood, and then 2 animated singing animal movies. It's like an interesting career, to say the least.
Yeah. He and his production partner, Nick Goldsmith, who worked on this movie, have a production company called Hammer and Tongs. And they're doing music videos, which I think is probably how he got involved with the Sing movie. Is someone that is good at directing and has done a ton of music videos. Because if you look at his IMDb, it looks like there's a ton of stuff, but it's literally just a ton of music videos, like Beck and Radiohead and Vampire Weekend stuff. So yeah, not super familiar with him, but I haven't seen The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I remember when it came out, it was like, it got middling reviews. I feel like it was just sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, well, I think it's like the fans of the book, it's like not quite what they wanted. And then for people who don't know the book, it was like a little too weird. And
yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's something you need to track down, but I mean, it's Martin Freeman is the lead. It's got Sam Rockwell.
Def, right? Isn't he in it?
Yeah, Most Def.
Yeah.
Sam Rockwell, just a ton of recognizable faces. John Malkovich has a tiny part in it. Zooey Deschanel is the female lead. It's a good cast. It's kind of fun and like silly, but you know, not the best thing I've ever seen.
Did it line up with the direction of this movie? Because this movie, okay, so my just initial impressions of watching this movie is it felt like if you took like a Jared Hess movie and a Michel Gondry movie and kind of mixed the two.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. It's funny. I mostly was thinking of Taika Waititi's movies.
Yeah.
Like Boy and Hunt for the Wilder People kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in that ballpark, like a little bit Wes Anderson-y, a little bit Jared Hess, a little bit Taika.
Yeah, and I think with the some of the animation stuff was the stuff that kind of reminded me of Michel Gondry. But yeah, it's just like take the mundane, take the stuff that is like weird or normal or kind of awkward or poor and showcase it in a way that isn't normally showcased. That's like Jared Hess's like bread and butter, like the Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre stuff. I know he's like big Minecraft guy now, but his 2 first movies were that.
Well, I mean, also Gentlemen Broncos is definitely in that ballpark.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got another one too.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything up until Minecraft, it's like very Jared Hess. And then
and this movie just felt like that, right? Because you have like this kid that's raised in this like strict religious family. You find out that his dad's died, and even the way he died is told. It's very sad, but told in a very like funny and humorous way. But you've got like his grandma who doesn't ever really say anything and is just kind of drooling, and that just kind of reminds you. I don't know. All of them just reminded me of like Napoleon Dynamite sort of characters.
Yeah, no, for sure.
The difference is this one is a little bit more narrative driven. There's a little bit more of a story and it has a little bit more of a heart. Whereas like Napoleon Dynamite, there is no story there. There is no plot. There's nothing driving that. It's just, you're just following Napoleon Dynamite. I think Nacho Libre leans a little bit more closer to where there's like an actual narrative or there's like a trying to get you in the feels a little bit. And this has that going for it. So as I'm watching, I'm just like, man, this is Jared Hess must just like cream his pants watching this movie. Just how excited someone is, like not aping his style, but going for that very independent style. Very British. It's also very, very British.
For sure. Yeah, and like to my one other point, it also, like, as far as the Wes Anderson connection, reminded me of his first couple films before he became so stylized visually.
Yes.
Like, it reminded me a lot of Rushmore, even, you know, with that character wanting to become a playwright and like writing plays, and then in this movie, Will Poulter's character like is trying to make his own movie and wants to enter it into this contest and all of that stuff, and just like the way that they treat like the French foreign exchange student, and he's just like super cool and like smoking cigarettes, even like he's a young kid, and just the way they treat him with the camera. Yeah, it's all that very stylized indie stuff.
The French stuff is very Wes Anderson. Like it almost felt like a different movie happening within its own movie until their stories intersect and the French kid becomes a part of the narrative. It felt like two totally different movies. I was even wondering, like, what is kind of going on with the French dude, and why are we even seeing it? Like, doesn't really play a part until it does.
Well into the second half before he becomes actually involved in the lives of the other characters.
Yeah. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the actual narrative of what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, basically you've got your main character who, like you said in the synopsis, he lives with his mother in a very strict religious family.
Like they can't even watch like television.
Yeah, not allowed to watch TV, so he hasn't had any exposure to that. But then like he's got his Bible and he just like draws all over the pages. Like he's obviously got a wildly active imagination, but he's just got no outlet for it. And, you know, with his strict religious family, he's like an outcast among the other kids, even though he's in public school of some variety where he's interacting with people who aren't part of his religion. And then Will Poulter is like the Bart Simpson who just like is constantly getting in trouble.
He's great cop. I like that. Yeah.
And just through circumstance, the two of them end up meeting, and Will Poulter's character, Lee Carter, starts taking advantage sort of the main kid because he, you know, he's been sheltered and he doesn't understand a lot of things about just like regular society. But then, so it's almost like he makes an indentured servant out of the main character, Will, at first, and is like, well, I did this thing for you, so now you have to be the stuntman in my movie. But then they very quickly become friends. And then it's like your classic, almost like, you know, middle of a romantic movie drama where there's like a falling out and they have to come back together, where Will Poulter's character Lee, he gets suspended for a week. And then during that time, the really popular, cool French kid who's a foreign exchange student, him and a bunch of his like followers get mixed up with the main character who has the camera. And that main character, Will, like invites all these other kids to be part of the movie. And then when Lee comes back, even though he always seemed like kind of a hard ass who was using Will, he now misses like just the two of them hanging out and being friends. And it's like this super cool French kid is like taking over the whole thing, and it kind of like drives a wedge between them.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is the stereotypical, like, well, let's call it the drug party scene, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's like in every one of these types of movies where it's like you have these two characters, they're out, both of them are kind of outcasts. They find each other and become friends. And then something, usually success, affects that friendship. And that's kind of what happens. Will becomes super popular because he's making this movie, and the French kid wants to be in the movie. And so because of that, he's now super popular, and everyone in the school wants to be part of the movie. And so they're making the movie and it's going well or whatever. And everyone's kind of sucking up to him, and he gets invited to the party. And it's like, you know exactly what it is. It's like a kid version of like
a nightclub or something,
where people they're not doing drugs, they're doing pop rocks and Coca-Cola. And they're getting temporary tattoos. And it's just all of these like tropes that they're playing into. And I thought that scene was hilarious. Even a kid comes running out like throwing up from something, and you know, everyone's dancing and having a good time. It's just a cliched scene done in a very innocent way. I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, like you have that whole story going on. And then the other side of things is Will, the main character's family. And like I didn't read a lot about it, but I just looked it up to be like, okay, is this religion real? And like it is. Will wants to do these things that he's not allowed to do. It's like he's not allowed to watch TV or anything. And then he accidentally ends up seeing the bootleg copy of Rambo. And it's like something he's never seen before, a movie. And he becomes like obsessed with it. And that like takes over all of his creative energy. And now he's like pretending to be Rambo's son, and he's drawing all these like doodles and things in his book about Rambo's son and all of this stuff. And then it's like he has to keep lying and making excuses to like not go to these church functions so that he can go and film the movie. And there's this real push and pull where brother Joshua, who seems like he's like one of the higher up guys in their church, is like noticing that Will's distant or whatever and is trying to influence Will's mother into like being more strict on him and bringing him to these special services and sending him away for like the weekend to, I don't know, be further indoctrinated into the religion or whatever, have their, views pushed on him. And all Will wants to do, it's not even like he's necessarily rebelling against his religion. It's just like he wants to have some fun. He's a kid, and he's like, he's got
finally
all
has
these
creative juices just flowing through. It's like pouring out of him. Like,
and they just want him to like sit in his room all day if he's not at church or school. And so it's like at some point when you can feel the mother, even though she's like strict and she's, in on the religion or whatever, she starts to like push back a little bit against this guy, brother Joshua, like telling her how she should be raising her son. And there's that like cathartic moment where she very calmly, like basically forces the dude to leave, and knowing that it will basically get them expelled from the church.
Yeah.
And like that was a nice moment where it's like she sided with her son over these other people and their views. But I was thinking to myself as I'm watching it, like, oh, if this is a real religion, I wonder how they feel being the villain in this film. But then I was like, well, they're not allowed to watch TV, so they'll never see this.
Right. Yeah. That type of religion doesn't care about facts or I don't know. It's
incredibly insulated.
Yes, it's like, well, we know it's bad, and it doesn't matter. We don't have to watch it to know that it's bad.
It's just like, I mean, without getting too deep, the way that it's portrayed in the movie, it almost seems more like a cult than a religion, because at some point, it's like if, you're a member of a church and you do things or partake in things that the church would generally look down upon, it's not like they kick you out of the religion. Like you can still have those beliefs or those views and participate in, their, community and such. But in this movie, it's like, oh, well, if your son doesn't stop, with all these flights of fancy, we're going to kick you out of the religion. Yeah. And it's like, what is even the benefit then if you're going to be that fucking judgmental of every person? He's a fucking child.
Yeah.
And they really do make them out to be the bad guys.
Oh, they definitely, because brother Joshua, he was definitely trying to get into
the mother's pants.
Yeah, for sure. Like there was definitely something going on, which it just shows you like it's like it's, I don't know if it's anti-religion, but it's definitely like anti like authority, or because it's like these people have
authority.
Abuse of authority. Yeah, it's like they have the power, and we tell you if you can be a part of this religion or not, and you got to follow our rules. You got to do what we say. And, it's pretty off-putting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about the cast. We keep talking about these people. So the mom is played by Jessica Hines, who you would know from Spaced.
Yep.
Awesome miniseries or show. I don't know but they determine what it's series in the UK, created by Edgar Wright and
Simon
Pegg. Yep. So she plays the mom. That was cool to see her in this. Brother Joshua was played by a guy named Neil Drugan. His name's familiar, but I couldn't recognize him from anything. I think he's in a bunch of British stuff, but
yeah, a couple of these people, I looked them up and I was just like, I don't really recognize anything here, so yeah, I didn't know anything.
Like if you watch any sort of like British TV, they usually show up in it. This is this kind of guy. The leads though are Bill Milner, who plays Will, and he was young Magneto in the First Class X-Men movie.
Yeah,
which we talked.
I was convinced when I looked him up on Wikipedia. I was like, "There's no way this kid went on to be in anything else, right?" And I was wrong.
yeah. He was in. He was in Dunkirk. I haven't seen Dunkirk. It's like one of the few Nolan movies I haven't seen.
Not my favorite Nolan.
And then I Boy, was that with Arya Stark?
Yeah, it was a straight to Netflix movie that came and went and nobody really remembers, potentially for good reason, but you and I reviewed that on Sidetracked back in the day when it came out, whatever year that was.
Yeah.
And he's the main character. He is iBoy.
That's hilarious. He's good. I really liked him in this movie. He's got an innocence that this character needs. And carries it really well. Like everything that he's doing he's doing it because he loves storytelling, right? It's just these creative juices that he's got within him that are just overflowing. And there's no like pretense. It's not about stardom. It's not about fame. It's just about telling the story and being creative. And I really like that. Will Poulter is the other second lead. He plays Lee. And obviously he's been in a million things, including the recent Guardians of the Galaxy movie playing Adam Morlock. Midsummer. I remember he was in one of the Chronicles of Narnia movies.
He was, I feel like the first thing I really ever knew him from is The Maze Runner. He's in all three of those films. And of all of the like young adult book adaptation series that came out in like the 2000s and the 2010s, that's easily my favorite of all of them.
Yeah.
And he's got an incredibly recognizable face. You can't see him and like not remember who he is.
The Revenant, he had a pretty fun part. Fun is a bit. I don't know if fun is the right word for The Revenant, but he was memorable in that movie.
And he's the son in the comedy We're the Millers. He's pretty memorable from that too.
Very recognizable. He's just very recognizable. And it's crazy to see him here as kind of the tough kid, the bad guy. And then
even just seeing him this young, I mean,
I know you look at him in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and he's like huge now. Like he's just a monster of a man.
Like, I mean, going back to the first Maze Runner, I mean, they're not even like really young kids in that, but they're like teenagers. But in this, like, I was like, wow, I didn't know that he was acting this young. Cause like, I didn't know he was in this leading up to this.
Sure. He's really good though. He's got a lot of charisma and he's got a lot of stage presence, and he really carries the role of like the bully that's not the worst kid that you've ever known. Like you feel sorry for him at the same time.
Well, it's like when the only characters we really know are the incredibly sheltered Will and him, he seems like the bully. But then the more characters enter the movie, we realize, oh, well, he's only like that because he's being bullied himself.
Right.
And he has found someone who's even lower on the social ladder than he is.
And his home life is terrible, right? His parents are just gone. Like
his parents aren't around, and it's like he legitimately loves his brother, but his brother just treats him like dirt and like forces him to cook for him and shit like that. And yeah, so it's like he starts out feeling like a very one-note character, but the longer the movie goes on, like by the time he comes back and all of a sudden the character of Will has become way more popular because he's in with the French kid, and then like they go into that like party, and the normally more outgoing Lee is the one who's like, come on, let's go, I don't like this is lame. He becomes much more of a well-rounded character, realistic kind of character.
Yeah. And then the movie's just peppered with them trying to make this movie. Kind of, it reminds me a little bit of like the Michel Gondry movie.
Be Kind, Rewind.
Yeah, where they're just sort of making a movie in the 80s. Just the two of them. And, they have all these moments of them becoming friends. Like Will has no concept of danger. So he dives he rope swings into the river and then realizes like, wait, I can't swim. And so Lee's got to pull him out. And then they make a pact to be blood brothers. And I don't know, there's just a lot of fun scenes between them as this friendship grows. It's really sweet and cute and innocent. And I enjoyed this stuff. I thought it was really good. Jules Sitrook is the French kid. Don't know who he is.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, but this was like maybe the only English language thing that I saw that he had done.
Yeah. But I really liked him. He's like this kid who's super cool. There's an exchange program. Apparently the kids come from France, and he is just too cool for school. He's got a little pencil mustache, even though he's like a 14-year-old. the girls just want to be with him. He line up to kiss him, and he's got this
a
little
little
entourage.
bit of dyed hair. He's got like the bright red boots and like a mesh shirt, and
it was very, very Wes Anderson, but in all the best possible ways. And it was fun. And then he wants to he's almost like becomes bored because he's got so much that he wants to become a film star. And then he sort of takes over the production. And of course, he's in it for the opposite reasons that Will and Lee are, is they want to create a movie because they love movies, and he wants the fame and the adoration, and he wants to be a star, right? Mm-hmm. So that's all fun. And then the last cast member that I have is just a cameo as the middle school teacher. Did you notice him?
I did not. I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, oh, I should go back and look for him. But I was like, I don't even remember when in the runtime that was, so I gave up on it.
Yeah, just a quick cameo. So yeah, I mean, the movie is very simple, and it follows all of the tropes of a kind of coming of age story, of a two outcasts becoming friends story, of the independent filmmakers' love for film. You know, like I feel like we've seen all of these aspects that are in this movie in other movies a million different times, and it's just done in a very like British, very specific to this movie sort of way.
But I also like that it's a period piece, and it reminded me again of Boy a little bit in that way, where in that movie the kid was obsessed with Michael Jackson, and in this they become obsessed with Stallone and Rambo. And just even using the actual footage and whatnot from First Blood in the movie and everything.
I liked at the very beginning, like I think the first shot is the opening of the theater where people are watching the movie First Blood, and everyone is smoking. Legit, everybody in the theater is smoking. I thought that was pretty funny. I'm like, this is definitely the 80s. I thought that was good. This is the 80s isn't, maybe it's because it's a lower budget, isn't like shoved in your face. Like
it's just a movie that takes place in the 80s. It's not like, hey, let's get all the neon lights and like the techno music and everything else and just like ram it down your throat. Like the only person who dresses in any kind of extravagant, what you might call 80s way, is Didier, or Didier, however you pronounce his name, the French kid, just because he's from somewhere else, and everybody else is wearing their like earth tones and gray drab school outfits and stuff, and he just comes in and he's like bright red.
Yeah, that was good. Was there anything that you didn't care for, or things that are aspects of the movie that you thought didn't work?
Not particularly. I mean, you know, I enjoyed the movie overall. It's not like it was some mind-blowing, brand new experience or anything. Like you said, there's a lot of tropes in it. You know, you can see a lot of things coming. I would say most of the like emotional highs and lows that I felt came from the kind of side story with like the mother and the religious stuff. Yeah. Because any time in the second half it went back to that stuff, it just kind of got so dark to me. Yeah. And I mean, you know that I'm not a religious person anyway, and in general I don't necessarily have the highest opinion of organized religion, but man, they just laid it on thick with those characters in this movie.
That was going to be my one standout, is I feel like that stuff almost felt shoehorned in. Because I feel like if you take that stuff out, how does the movie change, right? Like it doesn't really affect him being creative or wanting to do the things.
I mean, I think that the main thing is it makes him even more of an outcast, because like, sure, he could just be like a nerd who spends all his time doodling and is like antisocial, but it's not even that. It's like, he's almost being bred to be antisocial because he's not allowed to participate in the things other kids are. Like, he feels like a kid where if it wasn't like the strict rules put upon him by the people in his mother's social circle, he would have no problem making friends. But it's like, that's the thing that kind of makes him an outcast. And it's like, even when he finds the things that make him happy, he has to dance around it and hide it because his mother and or the people that she, you know, surrounds herself with would disapprove of it. So it's like an extra added barrier for entry, which I guess you could do it in other ways, but you know, like if instead it was like a single father and he was like a abusive alcoholic or something, and the kid didn't want to hang out with other kids because he was always trying to hide like the bruises from being beaten, or like there's other ways you could do it.
Yeah. But it just felt like that stuff was the most underserved. Like you feel good when the mom finally rejects it, right? But it also kind of comes out of nowhere, right? Like, I don't know. It's either spend more time with it or spend less time with it. I'm not sure which way I'd go. But
I mean, for me, I don't think I needed more, and I think that it served its purpose to the point where I'm not going to say I needed less. Like I said, it did just, that served as like the most kind of emotionally frustrating thing about the movie to me, which, you know, made me feel more, you know, involved in what was going on, because like all the stuff, you know, even if Will and Lee, they have their falling out, like you kind of said, we've seen this a bunch of times before, not that it's bad, but we kind of all know where it's going. And, you know, the fact that they're making this movie, you know, that at the end they're going to like watch some form of it and it's like going to be kind of a happy ending, most likely. But like the thing that was a little more unpredictable to me was that religious angle, and I think that's why it was like effectively upsetting to me, like in the act of watching it, because that was the thing that I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to go or where it was going to go. And that's why it was like kind of cathartic and relieving when the mother did like shun, if not the religion, that specific guy for being a dick about it.
Yeah. I did like the scene between her and Will where she kind of talked about her own experiences with that and how like the
when she went through the same thing as him.
Yeah.
But man, that just made me even more like kind of sad and upset, because it's like she went through the same thing as him. Like there was this song that she really liked and she went out and she bought like a used record player and she went to the record store and she sang the song for the employee because she didn't know the name, and he gave it to her, and then it was something simple that wasn't hurting anybody that made her happy. And then they visualize it as these three like fucking, you know, almost like Nazi SS agents from her church come and take the record player and burn it. Yeah. And then she's telling it to her son as like, this was a positive experience for me. I want you to stop enjoying the things that make you happy. And I'm just like, fuck these people. And like, it's just like sad to see like her brainwashed. And that's why it was so nice to see that she, you know, turned the other cheek. And I'm not even saying like, you know, to turn her back on the religion, but to back her son and his emotions over what these other people want for him or think he should be.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely wanted to punch Brother Joshua a couple different times.
For sure. I mean, when he's chasing down Will, and Will manages to get away from him, and Brother Joshua just like falls down like an ass. Like that was good too. That felt good.
Definitely. I also think it's interesting that a lot of these movies have a timeline they're trying to hit. They're like trying to hit an event, and they keep talking about the screen test that they're making the film for.
Yep.
But that's never even really, it's not like, oh no, we have an X amount of days. We got to get all our shots before the screen test. It feels like Will doesn't care about that at all, right? Like he's not making it for that.
I don't think he does. I think he's just happy to have a friend and be doing something. And it's definitely more Lee's thing where like he's hiding it from other people because he doesn't want to be judged about it. And it's like his goal. He's the one who's always talking about it. And then I thought that was a nice moment. You know, at the end of the movie, there's like an accident while they're filming, and Lee like saves Will's life and then ends up in the hospital himself and is kind of defeated. And then you see while he's in his hospital bed, he's watching TV, and because of the accident, he missed the deadline for the screen test thing. And who knows if he even would have had a chance of winning, but he now feels bad because he missed his opportunity. So it's like, instead of, you know, the big high being, hey, we finished this thing and sent it off to the screen test, it ends up being, you know, my friend got my brother, who normally, you know, treats me like shit, to like help him out and finish the thing, and then some people got a laugh out of it. And that small group of people getting a laugh is probably much more of a happy ending than, you know, sending it off and maybe getting a rejection letter or something from the screen test. Like I liked the way all that went, personally.
I liked it too, because it's about creating the film and the experience and not necessarily the end result. It's not them trying to enter a contest.
It's that thing they always say. It's not about the movie, Jesse. It's about the friends we made along the way.
For sure. For sure. All right. So the budget of this was all British. So I did a little conversion. The budget for this was about $6.5 million. I think that's like about 4 million pounds was the cost. It brought in $11.2 million worldwide. So the reason why you didn't see it in theaters is it debuted in 5 theaters on May 2nd and grossed $53,000 in 47th
in the U.S.
place.
specifically?
This is domestic, yes. In 47th place. It expanded to 36 theaters the following week, 91 theaters in its third week, and the widest it would open in the States was 152 theaters in its fourth week, grossing up to that point $939,000. So
it's just wild to me then that because I remember the theater I was in, and it was like the Regal Westview Stadium 16, a 16 screen Regal multiplex. And I saw the trailer for it there, which would lead you to believe you might have a chance of seeing it at that theater. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it did play in 152 theaters, so there's
but to imagine that theater in like down the road from where I work was one of the 152 that had it is a little hard for me to swallow.
Yeah. And I mean, you'd only have like a week and a half to see it because it didn't stay in theaters. It stayed in limited showing through the beginning of August. But again, this is like the smallest of theaters, finishing its domestic run with 1.7 million. It grossed 8.2 million in the UK between April and August, though. So it had a little bit of a wider reach there, but not too big of one. So still,
I think one of the most surprising things to me is just that this guy went from making The Hitchhiker's Guide to this. Like you would always 100% of the time you would think that he made this and then got Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah. It's almost reversed. Yeah, for sure. As far as reviews go, it has 201 fans on Letterboxd. So there are 201 people that have it in their top 4. It's got a 3.6 rating on 19,000 ratings. Okay. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 73% for the critics score. Joe Linden of the Houston Chronicle gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars and said, Son of Rambow is an inventive and amusing coming-of-age movie that deftly entwines elements of farce and fantasy, rebelliousness and sentiment, while paying seriously funny tribute to the transcendent power of art.
Accurate.
Roger Ebert also gave it 3 out of 4 stars. And he said, I liked Son of Rambow in a benign sort of way, but I was left wanting something more. Drama, maybe. No, that would simply be manufactured. Comedy is technically a comedy, although the limited laughs are incredulous. Fantasy, that is it in a bittersweet way. I don't really know what Roger here is saying.
He liked it, but didn't like it?
Better?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest. I wouldn't entirely disagree with him. Like, I liked the movie. I found it charming and entertaining. There is this almost feeling, though, of like it's kind of
forgettable.
Not even forgettable, but like minor. Like I kind of said, with the main storyline of like these two friends like coming apart and then having to come back together, it does feel like something we've seen before. And then when you can draw comparisons to other things like Wes Anderson, Taika Waititi, Jared Hess, it's like not 100% original in like style even. So it is a movie where I wouldn't be surprised if someone saw it and was like, well, you know, there's all these other movies like it. This one doesn't need to have really even existed or something. But
sure, but
like, I did like it, but it's just it didn't necessarily feel like anything special.
A good word for it then?
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he says I liked it in a sort of benign way. I'm the same way where I'm like, you know, you're going to ask at the end of the show, did I miss it? And I will tell you whichever way I go, it's not going to be like a resounding yay or nay.
Yeah. For sure. Mick LaSalle from the San Francisco Chronicle gave it 1 out of 4 stars and said,
this guy's got a dump in his pants.
Plenty happens, but little of it advances the action until the finale, which is lovely, but would have been a lot lovelier after 35 minutes, not 90. I feel like the finale is like the worst part of the movie. And by worst, I mean, not terrible, but just like it almost didn't matter at that point. I was already with it. You know what I mean? Plenty happens, but little of it advances the action. I don't know about that. I don't know. I feel like the movie moves at a decent pace. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a story about friendship. Like, yes, there's these other things happening. I don't know if this guy was like really excited about like the film being made within the film or something.
Yeah,
but like
maybe.
That's not really what it's about.
Yeah, for sure. Karina Chicano of the Los Angeles Times gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars and said, for a film about falling in love with the movies, its insight on them are next to nil.
Again, I don't really think that's what it's about. I don't think this is about falling in love with the movies. I think it's about two kids becoming friends, and the thing that happens to bring them together is movies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the main character, Will, who's never seen a film before, saw Rambo, and then the rest of the film was about him sneaking off to see a bunch of other movies and like realizing the magic of cinema. He saw one film and then became friends with another kid who likes movies. I don't know.
Yeah. He saw one bootlegged movie, and then the kid wanted him to be the stuntman, and he realized how much fun they were having, and they thought, let's keep doing this. I don't know.
Yeah, I would not call that falling in love with the movies. It's like these kids were just hanging out, having a good time. It could have been they were making this movie. It could have been they spent the summer building, or the school year building a fucking massive fort in the woods. Like, it could have been anything. It's like...
Yeah, you're missing the point.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that review anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Karina.
Yeah, Karina, get out of here. All right, Dan Jolin from Empire Magazine gave it 4 out of 5 stars and said, a potentially disposable, tongue-in-cheek first blood piss take turns out to be a deeply effective, surprisingly touching tale of family and childhood friendship. You only see one Rambo movie this year. Make sure it's this one.
Was this the year that the fourth Rambo came out?
Maybe.
Because I may be nuts, but I want to say I saw this trailer before that movie.
That would make sense. All right, Rambo. Yeah, Rambo came out in 2008.
Yeah, I think I saw the trailer for this before Rambo, and like maybe that helped me even more be like, oh, I want to see this.
That makes sense why they would show it also at that theater, right? Like
potentially, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And one of my clearest memories from that screening, aside from this trailer, is that after the first like scene of ultraviolence in that movie, there was an older couple that got up and left.
That movie opens with a ton of violence for sure. Yeah.
Couldn't have been more than 10 minutes in, they left.
That's funny. Well, Dan says, see this one instead of that one.
Good, Dan. I like the cut of your jib. You can teach Karina a thing or two.
Yeah, for sure. Dwayne Burge of The Hollywood Reporter said, Son of Rambow is pumped up with all the right kids' ingredients: slapstick, fantasy, alienation, and severe adult authority figures. But screenwriter and director Garth Jennings has slammed them all together with little cohesion. Ugh. I don't know. The movie works. Again, I agree with you with the whole benign thing where it's like, it's cute. It's a cute movie, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not life-changing. It's not world-altering. It's not like the most inspired thing I've ever seen, but it also felt personal. It felt like a story written by people that had maybe experienced some of this. You know?
Yeah, and I don't know how much of this is based on reality, but I'm pretty sure I did read that the director was inspired by him and his friends making movies when they were kids.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. And then finally, we've got Leonard Maltin. Leonard Maltin's going to like it, right?
Gotta.
He says,
utter garbage.
The setting is England in the early 1980s. A lonely fatherless boy whose family is part of a strict religious sect finds an exhilarating outlet for his vivid imagination, making home movies with an unlikely new friend, a cheeky miscreant who happens to have a video camera. Together, they emulate the adventures of Sylvester Stallone's Rambo character from First Blood, endearingly eccentric view of the pain and wonder of boyhood from the Hammer and Tongues production team with a larky music score. 3 stars.
There we go.
I think it's a sweet, simple, fun movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think all those 3 out of 4 and 4 out of 5 reviews we just heard had it right.
Yeah. Yeah. The one, Mick and Karina. Yeah, definitely got it wrong. All right. A couple of awards. The film won the Empire Award for Best Comedy. This is the Empire Magazine Awards,
which is a UK publication.
Also nominated this year was Burn After Reading, Ghost Town, In Bruges, and Tropic Thunder. So that's interesting that it went up against those.
Did people really like Ghost Town when it came out?
I think so.
Or was it just because Ricky Gervais was like still kind of hot coming off of, you know, The Office and Extras and whatnot, and like starting to hit it big in America?
Do you not like Ghost Town? I can't remember. I know I've had to seen it, right?
I mean, I remember the trailers looking bad to me. I think I saw it, but it's just like, okay. Now I'll admit, most people don't know Son of Rambow, but Burn After Reading, In Bruges, and Tropic Thunder, it feels like Ghost Town doesn't belong with those.
Yeah, I agree with that. Surprised it won. You think like Tropic Thunder would win Best Comedy or something, but
well, again, it's a UK publication, so they may have leaned a little bit into the hometown boys.
Yeah, and Gareth Jennings was nominated for a BAFTA in the Most Promising Newcomer category, but did not win.
Most Promising Newcomer? He'd already made The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I guess, I don't know why that didn't count. All right, as far as like notes and impact, Jan Pinkiva, who appeared in the movie on the real television show Screen Test and won the Young Filmmakers Competition of the Year award, later went on to write and co-direct Ratatouille. So
damn, really?
The kid that they showed that winning, they actually showed the show of the competition that person went on to go write and co-direct Ratatouille, among other things.
Is that why you just rewatched Ratatouille? I saw you logged on Letterboxd.
No, that was total coincidence. I thought that was really funny so I had to include that. But they've done some other stuff as well. Ratatouille, I think, was the most notable.
I've never heard that name before, even though that was like a big movie.
Yeah, Ratatouille was an animator on A Bug's Life, story artist on Toy Story 2, and it looks like co-director of Ratatouille was the last thing that they did. So yeah, I'm not sure. And then Son of Rambow was a longtime passion project for Gareth Jennings and Nick Goldsmith, the producer of the film. The filmmaking duo known as Hammer and Tonks, they first began developing years earlier, but put it on hold when they were brought in to make Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The film became their second major feature, inspired by Jennings' own childhood in the 1980s when home video equipment was just starting to become widely available. So it's very, an exaggerated, probably very loosely based on stuff that they went through making movies when they were kids. So yeah, I think that's about it. There's not a lot. I mean, and with these smaller independent movies, it's hard to find any like sort of impact that they've had, or especially with this sort of movie where it's just a small, personal coming of age story. You want
to talk about impact? This guy went on to make Sing and Sing 2, Jesse.
That's true.
That's huge.
Sing 3? Is there going to be a Sing 3? Are we going to get him back?
Probably.
Got to get Sing 3. It's in deep development at Illumination.
Deep development. Wow.
Yeah. That's 2 apparently had a hard time making some cash, so maybe not. Maybe only 2. All right, so we're going to come to the question that we ask every episode, Ryan. Did you miss Son of Rambow?
Benignly.
Okay, Roger.
Yeah, now, like, I don't know how I would answer this question if I didn't have this weird, like, minor personal history of, like, wanting to see it. But, like, it wasn't in the watching of it, because again, I had seen that one trailer, and I even had it in my head all this time. I thought that they were like remaking First Blood. I didn't know that like, and I thought it was called Son of Rambow because it was like kids doing it or something. I didn't realize like they were making their own like Rambo spinoff inspired by the character even.
No, but it's literally the Son of Rambow. They got to rescue Rambo from the Scarecrow. The evil scarecrow.
And a flying dog.
Yeah.
I mean, like after years of mild anticipation, I enjoyed this. I was happy with it. And I think it'll leave a minor mark on me. I don't think it's going to be too forgettable. So I will say yes.
A benign mark.
Yes, I will say that I missed this in a somewhat benign manner.
I'll say I did miss it in more than a benign way. I thought it was really good. It's just a cute movie. Is it the best movie of 2008? No, not even close. But
don't spoil our final episode.
That's true. Sorry. But it was just fun. I just enjoyed myself. It's a light watch. It's easy to watch. It goes by really fast. It has some of those moments that you talked about that were a little bit darker than the rest of the movie, dealing with brother Joshua and the cult that they're in. But all the stuff between the two leads just really works. They're just a couple of cute kids making movies together. I don't know. There's something sweet about it. I enjoyed it. So I'm going to say I missed it too. And it was nice because I had literally no expectations. Like I had no idea what the heck this is. Even the poster is like, what is this about? I have no idea. So
yeah,
and it's spelled with the B-O-W too, which is like
well, it's funny because it's like that first movie is called First Blood. So even if the kids saw it, they probably didn't know how to spell Rambo. And
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, they never really explained it, but that's always been there. It makes you think it's For some reason, I kept counting Rambow, but no, it's Rambo. So, all right. Good one, Ryan. Good choice. I approve.
Hey, thanks.
You did well, my friend.
We needed a good choice after that last movie we talked about.
Yeah, a little bit easier of a watch than Hunger, I would say. Now, benign, I wouldn't use that for describing Hunger at all. Both have connections to Michael Fassbender, though. This one,
wow, yeah, just barely,
just barely. All right, so we've got one more movie to review for the season of 2008, and that movie is called Mamma Mia. Come back next week for a little movie called Mamma Mia! Exclamation point. Or I guess you just gotta say Mamma Mia. It's gotta be. You can't just say Mamma Mia. It's gotta have an oomph to it, I guess. So, all right.
If you say so.
It's got it's in the title. Got to go with basic grammar, right? All right. That's going to do it for this episode. Come back next week for Mamma Mia. Until then, I'm Jesse Munoz.
Ryan Miller.
Mamma Mia.